Hey you guys, it's Paradise, and I was literally shocked at some of these major changes to various mechanics and weapons in Monster Hunter Wilds. After all of the TGS reveals and new gameplay from Japanese players, here's a sneak peek into some of the biggest changes that will affect your gameplay or favourite weapons, so let's get through it. Also, if you're enjoying all of our Monster Hunter videos keeping you up to date on the latest goodness, then drop a like down below and comment what your most hyped new feature is. A recent one for me is the little hornet nest army that you can use to aggro and attack monsters nearby. Anyway, we all remember the hot topic of the insect glaive seemingly not having its bounce anymore, right? Well, let's go over a way that makes the insect glaive bounce mid-air, just not in the way you would expect or perhaps want. While airborne with the insect glaive, you can actually go into a focus strike, and if you connect with a wound, you'll do an attack that will spring you up into the air and bounce you even higher. This will then have you shoot off your Kinsect to pop the wound and collect all 3 essences. This is technically a way to add a bounce to your aerial moves, it just doesn't allow you to combo into anything afterwards as you fall to the ground. So yes, you kind of have a bounce, just not the bounce everyone wanted. Hopefully the bounce is in the game through alternative combos or button holds though. But have you seen this crazy cool looking insect glaive glowing aura visual effect? You may be surprised to learn what it is, and if you've seen our insect glaive weapon video going over all of the new moves from the weapon notes, then it's good to know that this aura is a visual representation of you charging and holding down the circle button to execute the descending slash or thrust. This is an important new move, as your red essence now enables you to charge this instead of enhancing your regular combos. It's pretty important, as it's a precursor to the Rising Spiral Slash, a new finisher that both consumes and collects essences with one of the coolest visuals in the game for an attack. Next up is for anybody who regulars the longsword, or the people that are upset about the longsword being quote-unquote the favourite child of the Monster Hunter weapons, so you'll be surprised to know it got an unsuspecting nerf. Thanks to the Japanese YouTuber Taro Taro, who had plenty of time to test the longsword damage numbers against the training barrel, we can actually see the attack multiplier differences between the spirit gauge levels. Across all Monster Hunter games, as you level up the longsword spirit gauge, you in turn grant an increasing attack multiplier, with red of course being the strongest and where you want to be. Well, as you can see here, white to yellow and red gives a 0.02, 0.04 and finally 0.1 modifier. This is much closer to Rise and Sunbreak's bonus, but is still a bit less and much less than World and Iceborne. So in a way, the modifier is slightly nerfed here, and while it is a reduction, don't forget you have a bunch of spicy new moves and the extended Helmbreaker combo that still makes this very impressive. But what if I told you there was another improved feature of the longsword? Remember how focus mode lets you turn to where you want to point? Well, it's now confirmed that Special Sheath combined with focus mode actually lets you redirect at least up to 180 degrees, so you can adjust based on the situation. This will make those counters and follow-ups much less punishing if you whiff your positioning. But does anyone remember the Paintballs? This is a mechanic that Monster Hunter veterans have been happy to hear is somewhat returning in Wilds, just in a different way than how it used to. You see, this used to be used to mark the monsters so they would appear on your minimap, meaning in the old games, when a monster changes zone, you would know where to go, which was very useful. It looks like, through the limited capture we have available, that this now functions in a similar way as a sort of party-wide ping system. I think you can use this on the monster for tracking as well, but what we saw at the TGS special stage stream, the developers used it to ping the ground nearby some unstable rocks. This was a way to signal their teammates to come over and lure the monster to use an environmental trap. So now we at least have a way to dynamically ping anywhere on the map by shooting a paintball, which is pretty cool, right? But for any OG Greatsword mains out there, you of course know by now that the focus mode lets you turn 180 degrees while chopping. But did you know you can still do this in the middle of a true charge slash's animation to get the easiest wake up chops ever? Sometimes the initial hilt attack of that true charge slash would have you whiff those big meaty chops, but now as you can see here, you can easily avoid this by using focus mode to purposefully miss the initial hilt slash and then redirect the big chop back at the monster. This will be a real game changer for greatsword mains that struggle with those wake up chops, but tell me in the comments, What will your prepared excuse be when you inevitably miss one of these or whiff it, and your friends start to roast you because now it's even easier than ever to wake up chop? I did want to quickly mention another weapon that can make use of an insane mid-air focus strike cancel. You may have seen it previously on the channel, but when using the charged slash to jump off of a monster mid-air with the sword and shield, you can cancel your jumping slash or falling bash into a focus strike. And if you hit the wound, it means you can then choose to go into the Metsu style jump of the focus strike, enabling you to combo into another falling bash. So just imagine, you execute a perfect rush, into a charge slash, into a focus strike mid-air cancel, into a second jump with the rising shield attack, and finally ending with a falling bash that can KO the monster. Sword and shield mains are eating good, especially with the increased mobility and easy power clashes. There's just so much styling that you can do. In contrast, a small but awesome change is the new UI. Notice how the dynamic UI changes the health, stamina, and sharpness icons when not hunting. You can see the little circle notches that shows you how full your stamina or health is without the bar actually being there. Also, the little sharpness icon is super cute. And speaking of the sharpness, notice that when you compare it directly with the green sharpness to the new blue sharpness that we saw at the TGS stream, the overall length of the blue sharpness is much longer. So it seems that higher tiers of sharpness actually grow the length of the sharpness UI too. This will make it easier to know at a glance just how much sharpness you have left as you get less and less through attacking. But next up, I have one for the hammer mains out there. Did you know that your regular triangle, triangle, triangle combo for the golf swing that we all know and love has actually been dramatically improved, and the final hit of the combo is now classed as an offset attack? This means you can fully commit to your golf swings without worries of punishment. In fact, you get rewarded by knocking the monster over. Just note, offset attacks do still cause you to take some damage, so it's not going to be something you want to do at low HP, but it's so satisfying to land them, and I love the switch axe's offset attack too. But for the hammer, with how fast your triangle combo is, this means you have a quick way to be aggressive and get out of trouble while dishing out damage. So what do you think of all of these awesome changes? And there's inevitably more that we'll have on the channel at some point soon too. Drop a like if you enjoy all of the Monster Hunter Wilds videos we're putting out, because there's so much information to go through. And make sure you're subscribed for more Monster Hunter and videos on your favorite games coming very, very soon.